every troop against the brand new roaster, and mass night witches against everything. What's up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by. Yes, today, the roaster, talking about the brand new Builder Hall 6 defense, and we're putting up every single unit against it, starting out with just one of each, just one Barbarian, and you'll notice he gets showered in fire, so not really like your happy-go-lucky sing in the shower type of moment, more like Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho shower as these guys are getting annihilated. So that's just one Barbarian. But let's check out and see exactly how many Barbarians it takes. You can see that they withstand the first burst of shower of fire there, and it took us a few barbs, but we finally got through that roaster. Of course, it was all by itself. Now let's try the same thing with the archers, but don't forget, the archers are sneaky. So by deploying the archer further back like we did, that is going to put that poor little archer at a disadvantage, and she doesn't even last one roasting. She is gone. But by deploying the archers closer, you will be able to utilize that entire sneaky time that they have, and you can see much more damage being done by this archer because she's got, well, she had a couple extra shots anyway. Okay, so we'll try one more archer up close and personal, and it looks like she might be the one that gets the roaster down. It's going to be close. Can she do it? And she has got the job done. There she goes. So it took us 3 archers, but we got that level 6 roaster out of the way. Moving right along, we have got the giant. Now check this out. Much like in Clash Royale and back in the home village, you'd be surprised how much damage a giant can put forth. Look at that first punch, man. That is the boxer giant's strong point. That first punch really taking a lot of damage out of that roaster, and the giant is indeed going to survive several spewings. Is that even a thing? Spewings of fire from the roaster, and the giant wins 1v1. Giant walks away with about, I'm going to call it 46.424% of his health. All right, next up, we have got none other than the beta minion. So now remember, the beta minion starts out with that long range, that long distance dedication. Then it's going to move in, and that's when we're going to see the roasting happen. All right, bye-bye beta minion, but we'll drop another one. And again, watch these first 4 shots, 1, 2, 3, and then 4 right as it moves in, and it's going to get toasted, but we're working our way through. So again, just trying to see how many of each unit it takes to get through a roaster. Everybody's got that extra little advantage. The barbs had rage. The boxer giants have that first punch. The archers get sneaky, and then you got the beta minions who are beta. Or maybe their alpha attack is so strong. All right, we're going to get there eventually. Sooner or later, we will get this roaster down and move on to something that's slightly more exciting. We've got some mass attacks as well. Okay, fine. One more minion. This is taking a while. Here we go. Last time, you can do it. And, oh, just barely avoided getting flamed out of there. All right, next up, here we go. How about a bomber? Now, what do you expect is going to happen here? Watch the bomber run under the arc of fire, and the arc of fire adjusts to catch the bomber as it moves in, but there's a moment there where the bomber avoided the fire. There again, you see it, then it does land on his head, and he is gone. He gets 2 bombs off that time, so it looks like maybe a 3rd bomber is going to be enough to get this roaster out of the way. But check that out. That one only got 1 off, so maybe not completely consistent. The 2nd bomber got 2 bombs off. The 3rd bomber only got 1 bomb off, and this bomber finishes off the roaster and doesn't survive the confrontation. All right, next up, we've got the dragon. Now, you can probably imagine what's going to happen here, can you? Well, the dragon using that early rage and, again, putting out quite a bit of damage. Pretty tanky. The hit points look like maybe it's going to survive, and sure enough, easily. And it looks like I'm going to call that 48.8447%. So a little bit more damage left, or a little bit more hit points left, rather, on that dragon. All right, the cannon cart. Now, the cannon cart is that second life, that cat with 9 lives. There you go. Rejuvenated one more time, and it's going to be that second stage that lets a single cannon cart finish off a roaster. Otherwise, definitely was not going to get the job done. Now, the Night Witch. The legendary Night Witch moving in. At least she's legendary in Royale. She's definitely legendary status right now. You'll notice the second set of bats managed to avoid the roaster because the roaster was targeting the witch. And surprisingly, one witch is not enough to take out the roaster right there. Although she did get most of the damage done, it's going to require a second witch. And again, you can see her bats getting taken out very quickly. And the second batch of bats getting in there. You'll notice the attack speed, not that fast after that first attack from the bats, but more than enough to get the job done. So the witch is continuing to be super powerful. Now we had to give this a try. This is going to be kind of obvious, you guys. Battle machine here. So watch it run under the arc. It avoids the shower of flames the first time. And level 10 battle machine. We don't even need the ability here. Looks like, I believe that was about 10 hits that it took, 10 strikes of the hammer. But let's go ahead and use this ability and see if it takes much, much less. It should take about 4, I would imagine. 1, 2, the third one. Oh, almost. So it just barely took that 4th shot, almost got it in 3, and Battle Machine off to do more damage. What's up next, you ask? Well, here comes the fun stuff, the mass attacks. So first, mass archers. Now, don't forget the sneaky capability, and they're going to put a quick end to the roaster, almost instantaneously taking it down. The roaster never knew what hit it. Him, her. No, we will not assign it a gender. It's. All right, next up, mass archers and then mass barbarians. These guys gonna arrive still enraged, taking a lot of damage. Look at the massive splash damage. But again, so many barbs, they just, by sheer numbers, overpowered the roaster and moved on. You can see where if a unit is stuck behind a wall, the roaster is gonna have a heck of a good time taking that unit out. The beta minions, also expected outcome from afar. The long distance dedication, taking out the roaster, not a problem. Next up, we're going to try 2 attempts with bombers and watch the slightly different outcome as they overrun the arc of the first shower of fire, and most of them survive, right? They take out the roaster and 2 wander off. Watch the second attempt, slightly different outcome. This time, the roaster catches that first guy. He triggers the roaster, and they all get roasted except for one, and he has got a bomb that just barely manages to finish off the roaster. So again, just matters the angle and the spread of those units moving in. Then we're going to go with mass night witches. You probably could predict what is about to happen here as the roaster focuses on the bats themselves. The second wave of bats easily taking down the roaster, and we will do this one more time, except for this time we'll go ahead and let the night witches run on. And this is where you're going to see that the key to the use of the night witch is having a tank. You need that tank, at the very least the battle machine, maybe some giants, maybe some barbs, somebody to pull off the damage, because although the bats do a pretty good job of damage in their first wave, they're not that fast in attacking. The night witch is also pretty slow themselves, and you can see the multi-mortar just absolutely decimating this group of witches. Also, the bombs taking out a massive amount of witches. So you guys, right now, just from this bit of gameplay, you can tell that it is going to be absolutely crucial where you place not just your defenses, but those traps. The mines, the push traps, the spring traps, and of course the Tesla, going to make a huge difference if you've got them set to air or ground. Very important every single time you battle, I would say, to go back and analyze, look at what you're being attacked with, and maybe take a polling of what is most common at the level where you are, and that helping you to adjust your base accordingly, especially where you place those mines and whether they're set to ground or air. Because right here, mass night witches, no chance against this base. They do grab the 1 star for 58%, and we still have the level 10 battle machine. Now, he would have done a great job as a tank, especially to draw off the fire of the multi-mortar. And this is a strategy that we are already seeing at Builder Hall 5 with mass barbarian attacks. The barbarian rush, where you've got 45 barbs coming at a base. Ideally, you are going to distract the major defenses, especially splash, like the multi-mortar, with that battle machine. And here the battle machine all by his lonesome grabs about another 20% off of this base, a little bit more before he's finished off by those archer towers and the double cannon. So there it is, you guys. Every troop against the roaster. Things are starting to get a little more complicated in the Builders Village as we move to Builder Hall 6. Thank you guys, as always, for watching all the way to the end of this episode. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and most important of all, have a fantastic rest of your day and come back again tomorrow for more full attacks.
Galadon, roast me! I dare you! You can't! See? You can't!